Did you know your fabric choices are as important as your color choices when curating an outfit? When picking an outfit or styling an outfit, we tend to pay a lot of attention to what's currently trending, how to coordinate the colors, and how the clothing may sit on our body. But we tend to miss one important thing, which is fabrics. Listen, choosing the right fabrics and mixing your textures really well, it can make a huge difference to your outfit. It can take your outfit from 0 to A and from A to Z. So, in today's episode of the Principles of Styling, we are going to be discussing everything fabrics. We are going to talk about why fabrics matter. We're going to look at the two main categories of fabrics when it comes to styling. We are going to talk about playing with textures and how to intentionally choose fabrics according to your body shape. Let's get into it. Fabrics matter because they can determine how the clothing sits or behaves on you. It can affect the structure, the movement, and the silhouette. It can affect whether certain clothing create definition or it doesn't. It can affect how you're able to move when you are wearing certain clothing made in certain fabric. It can also affect how the shape of the clothing looks when you are wearing it. So think about it this way, right? Let's look at a blazer. A blazer made of wool and a blazer made of linen gives two complete different vibes, and how you're able to move in it is different, you know? So looking at a linen blazer gives relaxed vibes. I'm on holiday somewhere around the world. I'm in the Maldives, but I'm still standing on business. Whereas a wool blazer gives like that power look, and it's more structured, it's more defined. So fabrics do affect the mood an outfit can give. So if we are to think of linen, let's look at linen. Linen, you think of summer, you think of like the good times, you think, oh, clean, you think, oh, wealthy, because darling, linen is a natural fabric, and no everyone can affect pure linen clothing, you know? I mean, there are linen blends and the like, but yeah, it still gives that like rich or something about a woman wearing linen, you know, it gives relaxed. Whereas if we were to look at denim gives casual vibes, it gives I'm too cool for this, you know? And if you were to think of silk and sateen, it gives elegant vibes. I'm going to have dinner or like have brunch at somewhere fancy, you know, and I'm going to meet you by the bar, you know, in my black silk LBD. That's what it gives. So fabrics do affect how the clothing behaves on you, and it affects the mood, it affects the movement, it affects the structure. So it's very important to pay attention to your fabric choices. Now let's look at the two main fabric categories from a styling perspective, which is structured fabrics and soft or draped fabrics. Structured fabrics are fabrics that tend to hold shape. For example, wool, tweed, leather, and denim. Whereas soft or draped fabrics are fabrics that move with the body. For example, sateen, silk, chiffon, and organza. These fabrics give two different feelings and two different vibes. Structured fabrics are usually used to create dimension and to create structure to a looks. It gives a feeling of power, polished and tailored. Whereas soft or draped fabrics, they are used to create movement and softness to a look. They tend to give elegant vibes, relaxed vibes, and effortless. So when choosing fabrics according to body shapes, the same principle still applies, which is balance. When you're choosing fabrics according to body shape, it's still about balance. It's still about balance. It's not about putting some restrictions or living according to the rules. Oh, because you're in inverted triangle, you should only wear organza. No, no. We're not doing that. We are all about balance. We are styling and we're balancing. We are applying the principle of balancing because we can do this. We are very stylish. Stylish people, they know they learn rules to break them. Yes, but yeah, back to the video. Let's look at the different fabrics that work well for different body types. Let's look at the inverted triangle. Now, the inverted triangle, we already know that the shoulders are bigger than the hips, the lower body. So what we're trying to do here is that we need to work with thicker, or let me rather say structured fabrics for the bottom to create structure on the bottom, and on the top we will want to create that softness, because remember, inverted body shape has bigger shoulders that tend to look a bit athletics at times, So the upper body, we're creating softness. That means we're going to use what? Soft or draped fabrics. For example, silk, sateen, organza, chiffon, and the like. Any fabric that creates like softness and movement is best for the top. Okay, so now when it comes to the bottoms, you really want to lean more on structured fabrics or thick fabrics. For example, denim, linen, velvet, cord, tweed, and wool, and many more. Like, you can search like thick or structured fabrics, so we'll give you more examples. So when you're shopping, pay attention to that. Don't pick that skimpy silky pants. It will not work really well for your bottom. I would say focus more on structured fabrics when it comes to the bottoms if you have an inverted triangle body shape. Now let's look at pear shape. Remember, pear shape has smaller shoulders and bigger hips, which means the top is smaller than the bottom. So we want to balance the top, so we're going to use structured fabrics because the top is smaller. We're going to use structured fabrics to create structure and to create some form of definition, not definition, like dimension. You get what I'm trying to say. So for the top, you look, or tops, you would look at fabrics such as wool, you look at fine knit, you look at linen, you would look at thick cotton. And then when it comes to the bottom, because your hips are perfect and you are trying to balance things out, you don't want to do too much for your bottom. So I would say lean more to lightweight fabrics like soft linen, silk, crepe, any material, any fabric that is like lightweight will work well for the bottom. Now, looking at the rectangle body shape, remember the body shape, everything is the same dimension. The shoulders, the waist, the hips is in proportion. So here we want to create some definition, or like create some dimension or some form of shape. So what are we going to do? We're going to use structured fabrics to create that structure. So think of fabrics such as cord, tweed, wool, denim, and layered knit. When it comes to an hourglass body shape, you would really want to lean on fabrics that move with the body. We want to see those curves. Okay, so I would say lean on to soft or drape fabrics that move with the body. For example, sateen, silk, organza, chiffon, and you really want to avoid thick fabrics that like take away and overwhelm your body. Think of like very textured fabrics like heaven meat, wool, any thick fabric won't work well for your body. I mean, you can do it. Like I said, stylish people learn the rules to break them. But trust me, it's not gonna play out really well. But you can try it. It's your body, it's your money. Now let's look at the apple body shape. So remember the apple body shape, it has a bigger midsection, and the shoulders and the hips are more or less the same proportion. So when it comes to this body shape, we really want to conceal the midsection or the tummy. So you really want to lean more on fabrics that create structure and fabrics that are also flowy. So for structured fabrics, I'm referring to linen, denim, and wool. And then when it comes to the flowy fabric, sateen and silk can still work well, like something that's flowy and create some form of movement. It will also work well for this body shape, but you need to be careful with this, because for this kind of body shape, you really want to avoid delicate fabrics. Any fabric that is ultra thin, that is skimpy and see-through, you really want to like avoid it and lean more into like flowy fabric that have some form of thickness and structured fabrics. From a styling perspective, I know when you think of fabrics, you might think of textures. And when you think of textures, you might think of fabrics. But the two are like different things, but in the same family though. Fabrics is a material clothing is made of course, but like textures refers to the physical or visual feel an outfit gives. So stylists, you are going to mix textures to create depth and to make it look visually appealing. Think of it this way: a monochromatic look, for example, an all black look, right? An all black look that has different fabric choices or different textures. It looks more visually appealing in comparison to a look that is the same color head to toe, same fabric, you know. So this is where fabrics is also important. Fabrics can be used to take a look from O to A, but just using fabrics only, even if it's one color, you know, even if it's the same color in one look. You play with textures, it can transform your look and it can create that like contrast, you know. Contrast is very important in styling as well. So this is the second principle: first balance, second contrast. If you think of that when creating your looks, trust me, you're going to take all the stylist jobs. You're going to become your own stylist. When it comes to mixing textures, right, the pro tip to this is like creating contrast, right? Mixing two different types of textures. For example, there are heavy textures like wool, knit, linen. There are also smoother textures like leather and silk, you know. So for example, in winter we tend to wear a lot of heavy textures. We tend to wear a lot of wool, a lot of knit. So that is why wool tends to play really well with leather, because leather is smoother and knit or wool is heavier or rougher, you know. So that creates contrast, and I think that's the best way to look at it. When thinking of textures, just think about it this way: create contrast, rough versus smoother, you know. And sometimes playing with fabrics in the same family line works really well. Think of it this way: pairing natural textures with natural textures. For example, linen with linen, it will always look good. Synthetic fabrics with synthetic fabrics, it will always look good together, you know. Some family has to work together. So get this right, when it comes to fabrics, it's not really about choosing the right fabric for your right body, for the right body type. It's not like, oh, hourglass, you must only wear sateen. It's more about what you want the fabric to do on your body. Do you want it to create definition, or you want it to be flowy? Do you want it to move on your body, or you don't want any movement? You want some stiffness, or you want to create structure, or you want to create softness. That's how you look at it, which still draws us back to understanding your body shape. When you understand your body shape, you know what you require from the clothing that you choose on, or how you choose to style your clothing. For example, in rectangle body shape, you need to create dimension, so you're definitely going to lean more to structured fabrics that are going to help you create that definition and that structure. So that's it for me, guys. Remember, fabrics are very important. Be intentional with the fabrics that you choose, and this thing of us buying fast fashion, synthetic fabrics and the like. I mean, it's affordable, but guys, we really need to start investing in fabrics that last longer. Natural clothing made of natural fabrics. We'll get there one day, guys. So yeah, I am pro quality fabrics, natural fabrics. I think our bank accounts really need to catch up with us. Some people are already there. If you're there, able to afford it, I'd say don't spend your money on something that's going to last you 2 years. Another thing is that the fabrics that you choose, they determine how long that clothing is going to last you. So make the right choice today. Invest in quality fabrics, okay? That shein top bottom, it's good for now, but it's going to catch on with you later. Anyway, guys, we've come to the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Don't miss the next video, because in the next video we are going to focus on color. We're going to talk all things color theory, color matching, color coordination, and the like, and many more. So you can't miss it. See you next time. Kizzy.